You have requested, and I have heard. Get ready, shippers, to dive back into the world of Harry Potter and get to know the ship known as Scorbus. This is Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy, and let's get started. Heads up, there may be some mild spoilers for the Cursed Child in here, so if you have not read it or are one of those fortunate souls waiting to see the play and don't want to be spoiled, turn back now. So who are the characters that make up this pairing that is seeing a huge surge in awareness and popularity? First up, we have Albus Severus Potter, the second child of Harry Potter and Ginny Weasley, while the other half of this ship is Scorpius Malfoy, son of Draco Malfoy and Astoria Greengrass. Both of these characters were first introduced in the epilogue of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows back in 2007, in an ending that left many readers and longtime fans with mixed feelings. However, that did not stop many fans from latching on to this next generation of characters, and while the books may have been finished for the time being, the fandom was still very much alive, and new ships and stories emerged. One of these was Scorbus, the aforementioned pairing, as fans gravitated to the idea of the children of rivals Draco and Harry not only interacting, but becoming involved in a relationship. Speculation fueled this pairing. What would their relationship be like? Would they be besties? Would they be rivals? Would the battles of their fathers continue to play out through them? What would their parents' and grandparents' reactions be once they found out that they were together? Which houses would they be in? And what expectations would be placed upon them? All of this was going on in the background of the fandom for years, and with the release of the transcript/script of the play Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which has been hailed as the 8th book in the Harry Potter series, this pairing is hitting mainstream popularity and recognition. Firstly, it must be noted that ships are becoming discussed more and more openly, and there are many who felt that the Cursed Child is really a romance story about the blossoming relationship between Albus and Scorpius, and even if it is not textual, there is so much homoerotic subtext it may as well be. So why is this play encouraging pre-existent shippers as well as enticing a whole new group to this pairing? Well, this play is very much the tale of Albus and Scorpius, who met formally in scene 3 of the first act and quickly formed an intense bond of friendship. The two share a connection due to their disconnected relationships with their fathers, due to the resentment and awkwardness created by having to live in the shadow of their father's distinctive legacies. The expectations placed upon them by others within the school as well as outside of it leave them isolated in a world expecting them to be like their parents, and unwilling to accept them as separate individuals with their own skills and dreams. The two become each other's constant companions, and the stage directions are often there to comment on the connection between the two, such as when Scorpius becomes jealous seeing his friend Albus interact with another person, a girl specifically, while other characters also make note of their bond, such as the character Delphi going as far as to say that they belong together. They are fiercely dedicated to each other, both willing to risk their lives for the other, and a key portion of the antagonist's ability to manipulate Albus is the threat upon Scorpius's life. The two defy all odds to keep their friendship alive, despite the brief and rather aggressive interference from a judgmental Harry. Throughout the play, the two begin to demonstrate more and more physical affection for each other through hugs that some have come to mark as the tentative beginnings of a romantic relationship. The two also have very compatible personalities. Albus is a hot-headed, action-taking, dedicated young man who, while willing to charge into a situation head first, is loyal to his friends. Well, friend, and passionate about what he believes in and forging a new path for himself. While Scorpius is a bit more cautious, but no less brave, and slightly more confident, and very kind and empathetic, capable of giving Albus guidance and helping him see situations in ways he never had before, while Albus forces Scorpius to take charge and move forward. They play well off each other and make each other stronger as people, and help each other grow while not subsuming the other. Neither has a more dominant personality, simply two well-defined ones. It could be argued that these two are given the largest chance for development, as this play serves as a firm expansion for these two and answers many fans' burning questions as to what, if anything, was happening with them canonically. But while many were thrilled by what they see as either the confirmation or at least the very firm foundation for Scorbus, others are less enthused. So why would people not ship Scorbus? Well, there are many reasons, some of which are tied into many people's mixed feelings about the Cursed Child itself. So let's break them down. As mentioned, Scorbus has existed as a pairing since the publication of the 7th Harry Potter novel, and some shippers had firm opinions on how they wanted it to play out. There are some who were attached to the idea of a rivalry between these two, perhaps even a reversal of the houses, with Albus as a Slytherin and Scorpius as a Gryffindor, or some form of repetition of the Draco/Harry dynamic, only with a romantic endgame, which for many fans Draco and Harry already had. Drarry. There were also other pairings that had emerged, such as that of Scorpius and Rose, a couple which has the groundwork laid out for them in this play, which many fans are also attached to as a form of a continuation of the Hermione dynamic that was so popular. So for some, the depiction within this play did not meet their expectations, and they were a little disappointed. While for others, this was exactly the kind of depiction they were hoping for. Others are not a fan of shipping culture and what can be viewed as the erasure of close friendships. While it can be postulated that the closeness growing between these boys could have a romantic slant to it, others see a very close friendship, a deep and beautiful bond, and do not see why it needs to have any kind of romantic tinge to it, especially given the boys' ages within this play. Some feel that their closeness and physicality, as well as their earnestness, is a byproduct of what it is like to have a best friend at such a young age, where a lack of life experience and perspective can make friendships all-consuming and all-powerful. A relationship that transcends the romantic and becomes a life bond, forged of something pure, which is not to say that romances cannot be pure, but there can be that perception that romance complicates things. It all depends on one's view of romantic versus platonic relationships and how much overlap an individual believes there should be between them, which varies from person to person based upon their own experience and observations. Some are tired of seeing what they view as every close friendship turned romantic, and just want a chance to breathe in this platonic space, and wonder why everyone seems so crazed and horny, wondering can't shippers ever take their shipping goggles off? And all of this aside, some feel that these two may get along now, but there are some edges to their personalities that could hurt them down the road, as they both do still have a lot of growing to do. Albus can be a tad oblivious and unintentionally hurtful because of it, and can tend to drag Scorpius along for the ride. As Draco says, Scorpius is a bit of a follower, while others feel some of their closeness is born of their loneliness and isolation. What happens if one or both become more confident and popular? Will their friendship survive? Which could honestly make for a great fic. Somebody write that, or send it to me if you already have. However, for those who are feeling these two either as a couple or a bromance, these different views of this ship can coincide, but one's mileage will vary as to which they find preferable, and an argument/headcanon can be made either way. However, some are not sold on this pairing at all, and find it to be too predictable, which ties into a complaint leveled not only against Scorbus, but against the text as a whole, that being that the entire endeavor is fanfiction-y. Many have stated that the play reads like a piece of fan fiction and is full of fan service, and the Scorpius and Albus interactions are up there in that regard along with the time travel plot. Why people think this play is fanfiction-y and what that means will be dealt with in an upcoming vid, but as it pertains to Scorbus, these two characters' backstories have been imagined for years, and there have been many permutations. One of them was that Albus would be in Slytherin, as it seemed like a logical narrative point that could create conflict given the negative bias towards Slytherin present within the Harry Potter series, while either the two being friends or rivals regardless of house had also been worked through as an expansion, evolution, or even resolution to what many fans felt were loose threads left hanging from the Draco and Harry relationship. So some people were simply expecting more. Disappointed! Fanfiction-y is often used as a put-down, but reading in between those lines, it can also be read as people expressing the fact that they've seen this before. These deconstructions have already been produced by fans, which has left many hoping for something more unique. Whether or not this is fair criticism depends upon how one views the relationship between author, fan, and fan work. However, with 8 years between complete Harry Potter works, people have been hyped, and the time for nostalgia to set in has been adequate. And all of these things can breed some pretty high expectations, which some would argue are impossible to meet. Still, as with all Harry Potter works, this one has encouraged fans to get active once more within this fandom. Not that the activity in this world ever stops. Harry Potter is unique in that it has an ever-expanding fandom, with the works resonating with individuals, elevating Harry Potter above a regular work of fiction into the realm of cultural iconography. Whether you love or hate it, most people are aware of the Harry Potter universe. And whether you love or hate or are indifferent to the cursed child, it did give these two some fleshed-out canon backstory and personality traits to play with, whether that means changing them or building upon them. It's really up to you. The world is always a little happy to see more Harry Potter, no matter how critical they may be of it. Unless you truly dislike it, then no amount of Harry Potter is going to excite you. And some would argue that with so many different opinions swirling around about Harry out there already, that is what this play and its reception are suffering from. Are you guys Scorbus shippers, or is there another next-gen pairing filling your sails? Did you enjoy Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? Why or why not? As always, share all your thoughts down below. This was Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check out social media to stay up to date, and as always, stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.